Well, here we are with Calvin Castine and his hometown cable camera, Cordy Little, 26 minutes after 12 on the 12th day of September, 2015. It's here, John.
I know it. I'm glad. I was ready a couple of days ago. I would have gone right from Riverside to here if I could.
John Kruger, city historian, is playing a part of Mr. Bailey from years ago, and when he did his presentation to MC the Riverside Cemetery commemoration and services, he identified himself as that great person from 201 years ago, and people were a little confused in the audience.
Well, I'm going to give them an opportunity to be confused again today, and then if they're real gluttons for punishment, they'll have one more chance tomorrow.
Those people who get to watch that program will see Assemblyman Janet Dupree stand up to the microphone and said, I've never been introduced by a dead assemblyman before.
That was my favorite part of the entire program.
And it wasn't even scripted. So how's it going for you so far, John?
Well, you know, I'm having a really good time because here I am. I'm being somebody who's been dead for 175 years.
Looks pretty good for a
He was a pillar in his community, not only this community, but in Franklin County as well. As you'll hear when I get going, I'm related to all sorts of important folks. It's a nice day today. People can get dressed up and not be really hot, and it's not pouring rain. What could be better?
It couldn't be any better. John and I first met when he didn't know as much about local history as I did, and nowadays he knows more than anybody.
No, Jim Bailey is still the man.
What a guy. And I haven't seen Jim. Has he been walking the streets this weekend?
He was at Riverside.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
I missed him. I saw quite a few people, but you were such a center of attraction, John. It's been a good weekend. As I've used the word truncated a few times in the coverage that I've done, because we shortened it to 4 days. Last year, of course, was a quintessential celebration.
And last year it was, it was 2 weeks and change.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which, because it was the bicentennial, it makes sense, but it's not really sustainable. Particularly since so many of the people that made that happen all those years had been focused on the bicentennial all those times as they got better and better and better, and then it came and they were all set to retire, and many of them did.
You know, I had so many people on Facebook and other various media sources tell me the significance of September 11th to them. Not only the 9/11 the 9/11 that we remember, but the Battle of Plattsburgh and their great-grandparents' anniversary and birthdays of their offspring and people. But you know, throughout this entire weekend, and I enjoy it every year, I know you do too, it dawns.
Yeah, but I've never been in this position before.
No, I know.
I could enjoy it on the sidelines, which is a lot easier way to enjoy it.
As long as you don't lose your voice before the parade is over. We've recorded Kit Booth doing this for so many years. You will be so confused saying, wait a minute, it doesn't say the 4-H club is coming now. That's supposed to be a Ford Mustang convertible. So that's always fun when you do parades, but you can do it. Are you going to stand on the steps or do it from here?
I don't know. I just take instructions. The part that I know how it's going to run, the street battle, I'm going to do from here, and that's about a 15-minute lead-in, and that's sort of like me walking around telling you what's going on.
I love it. It'll be a good parade. How many units? Do you know offhand?
I know that it's upwards of 60, I think.
It's always great. It's always great. Calvin and I were here for the very first one. The parade lasted about 23 minutes because they jammed everybody together. We kept saying, just a little space, you'll have a nice parade.
This one, I'm sure, will be more stretched out because we've got, I think, at least 3 units that are with horses.
You know, I was just going to say, if it's got horses, then it's a parade, because in my youth, there was never a parade without horses.
No, we've got music, we've got kids, we've got horses, we have prime military units, and we've got good-natured volunteers and folks who just want to march down the street.
You know, I have found myself promoting the commemoration of the battles of Plattsburgh for all the years since I've been here, because there are so many people outside this area who have no clue. of how significant the Battle of Plattsburgh was.
The sound man who's been very, very helpful in setting all this up comes from Kansas, and I've been standing here for about an hour, and I'm just filling him with all this stuff.
The first thing John said to him is, how long can you hold your breath? Because we're going to put you under the lake until you understand this history of this North Country. There aren't many communities that I've been associated with over my long lifetime that have as much history connected with them as Plattsburgh and Clinton County.
With Plattsburgh, we've got not only the Battle of Plattsburgh, but we've got the Battle of Valcour. And I love Thomas McDonough, but a lot of people don't recognize Thomas McDonough's name, but you say Benedict Arnold, and everybody knows who you're talking about. Now, I don't want to take attention away from where we are right now today, but having both of those is really incredible. And just to put in a quick plug for the city, we wouldn't be here today if the city of Plattsburgh hadn't decided to take this on. It's really, really unusual for a city to do a history reenactment.
That's a tribute to the mayors and the various people in local and area government who've espoused the memory of the history here in the North Country since I've been here. That's another thing that I enjoy. Your early connection with history here was working at the Kent DeLorde House Museum.
Even earlier, it was Clinton County Historical Association, way back when it was on Court Street.
Oh, how well I remember.
Yeah, I can go way back.
I remember all of its iterations. It was on the third floor of this very building in front of us when I first came here.
You go back. You're much older than I am.
Well, yes. It reminds me of an old song which we don't have to sing, you and I, today. But it is great to be here. It's wonderful to perpetuate the appreciation of a history of an area. It helps you appreciate where you are in this space and time.
I do a lot of tours for people of all ages, from little kids to senior citizens, and the one thing I try to get across is what you were just saying, pride of place. People need to realize they live in not only a beautiful area, but a really historic area as well.
I love it. I talk about it whenever anybody gives me a soapbox or even an imaginary soapbox. My lips have to move. I guess that's the nature of the beast. But my lips move to promote this area and its history. And if I can get little kids to say, "Mommy, what's that guy dressed up as?" and have the mommy explain, well, he was involved in the Battle of Plattsburgh in September all those years ago. One of the first things I ever did in coming to town, besides go on the radio and turn a microphone on, was look for Pike's Cantonment with my kids and a metal detector and so on. And we've got a lot of spots like that around Clinton County.
And I mean, there's Native American spots all over Clinton County. I mean, a point I was trying to make to a group of homeschoolers earlier this week, this area was all French until 1763.
Oh, absolutely.
This and a lot more to the south as well.
And nobody's ever had trouble pronouncing the name Little in French and English, so we don't have to worry about that. Kruger, I'm not so sure about.
No. John, today it's Bailey, though, and anybody can pronounce Bailey.
I love it. I love this area. Calvin and I enjoy being right here. It's maybe one of the few times this week when I'm in such a prestigious place, but I want to be close to you so I can hear every word, John.
I've got a loud voice. You'll be able to hear me, I'm sure of it.
You better get some sleep tonight, will you? Good luck with that, John.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much.
Husband, father, judge, and patriot, I played a small role in the events we're commemorating throughout the weekend. I died 175 years ago last month, and it's my privilege to serve as Master of Ceremonies. Some might say it's a miracle I'm here. Eve of the war was no longer the wilderness that once dominated the region. Plattsburgh, founded in 1785, numbered more than 3,000 inhabitants, and had become the seat of newly established Clinton County. Burlington, on the Vermont side of the lake and some 19 miles to the southeast, in June 1812, President Madison declared maritime rights to be the primary cause of the conflict. British politicians suspected a greedy desire to secure Canada, while Britain was preoccupied with its life or death struggle with France. Secretary of the Navy Paul Hamilton made a wise decision in late September when he appointed Thomas McDonough to replace Sidney Smith on command of naval forces on Lake Champlain. Thomas McDonough was the son of a Revolutionary War officer. He was knowledgeable about the building, outfitting, and sailing of warships. He proved to be an excellent choice as American commander of the squadron on Lake Champlain. Arriving at Burlington in early October, the 28-year-old lieutenant set about repairing some derelict gunboats and securing crews and supplies. Before winter set in, he was ready to patrol the lake with his small fleet. Fast forward to the spring of 1814. The collapse of Napoleon's armies and his abdication in April ended a decade of fighting in Europe and allowed Great Britain, for the first time, to direct full attention to the war in America. Accordingly, the British government immediately began sending reinforcements from the Duke of Wellington's army to Canada. 4 brigades under able generals, 1,000 artillerymen, more than 16,000 soldiers in all, began sailing from French ports in May and June. As summer neared an end, the two sides readied themselves for a major clash at the northern end of Lake Champlain. British Governor General Sir George Prevost mustered an army of 10,000 men, more than Burgoyne had brought to bear a generation before, including many of Wellington's undefeated veterans. Considering his orders, Prevost decided that he would strike at Plattsburgh rather than on the eastern shore of the lake. Sir George aimed to defeat the American garrison and occupy the village, while facilitating the destruction of the American fleet. The expected invasion began on August 31st, when one wing of the British Army crossed the border and camped on the north bank of the Great Chazy River. The rest of the army and Prevost himself entered New York the next day, September 1st. 32-year-old American commander, Brigadier General Alexander McCoo, scrambled to prepare for the British attack. He concentrated his small force and set his troops to completing earthwork fortifications just south of the village. On August 31st, McCoo asked Vermont Governor Martin Chittenden for his state's militia. Ultimately, General Samuel Stroller Vergennes assumed control of the volunteer troops. By the time the battle began on September 11th, 2,500 Vermonters had arrived from towns across the state. They crossed the lake in every kind of vessel that would float. McCoo greeted Strong by handing him a sprig of evergreen as a symbol of the Green Mountains. McCoo asked my brother-in-law, General Benjamin Moores, head of the New York militia, to provide troops to watch the enemy. Without waiting for further authority from Governor Daniel Tompkins, Moores called out the militia of Clinton, Essex, and Franklin counties. The general put most of his men to work strengthening his army's position. 3 forts, amply equipped with artillery, blocked any attack on the ground south of the village, between the Saranac River and Lake Champlain. Blockhouses and batteries augmented the American defenses. The principal work, Fort Moreau, stood opposite the bend of the river, about halfway between the river and the lake. The defense of Fort Moreau was entrusted to Colonel Melancton Smith of Plattsburgh. An earthen redoubt fourth round stood on the bank of the river, directly opposite the bend and about 300 yards west of Fort Monroe. Those of you that drive modern conveniences called automobiles on Route 9 still can see the ruins of Fort Brown. Another earthen redoubt, Fort Scott, stood to the east of Fort Monroe near the bank of the lake. 26-year-old Major Joseph Totten, the 10th cadet to graduate from the new military academy at West Point, designed the earthworks. It would take more than a sudden onrush to capture them. McCool made his headquarters in a yellow wooden house on Bridge Street that Benjamin Moore's owned but did not occupy until after the war. Extended and bricked over, the house still stands on the corner of Bridge and Pike Streets. By September 4th, 700 militiamen had assembled at Plattsburgh. The next day they advanced about 5 miles, with orders to break up bridges and obstruct the road with fallen trees. General Morse took personal command of the force, and they camped that night in East Beekmantown. Meanwhile, Aiken's volunteers spent the night near West Shazy. This group had come together only the day before, and was composed, except for the officers, of schoolboys from Plattsburgh Academy, located on the site of today's Plattsburgh Public Library. On September 5th, McComb ordered Major John Wool, a 30-year-old lawyer turned regular soldier, with 250 regulars, and Captain Luther Leonard with several smaller cannons, to meet the enemy and give an example to the militia. Wool and his men departed at midnight and were in East Beekmantown by sunrise on September 6th. Wool's regulars took position near the Ira Howe House, which still stands where the Ashley Road joins Route 22. As the British column marched up Culver Hill, Lieutenant Colonel James Willington of the 3rd Buffs made a prominent target. Militiamen behind a stone wall fired and killed him instantly. Ensign John Chapman of the Buffs was also killed in this stiff engagement. Wool and his regulars contested the route the rest of the way to Plattsburgh. Wool's regulars, the militia, and at the last minute Aiken's volunteers made their final stand at Halsey's Corners, named for the Reverend Frederick Halsey, whose stone house still stands west of the Corners. My 7-year-old son was in class at Plattsburgh Academy that morning. When word of the approach of the British troops arrived, school was dismissed, and John hurried home without his hat. I quickly collected the rest of my family and took them to the safety of the Quaker Union in Peru. Many of our neighbors with young children did the same thing. The British and right and left wings joined forces somewhere near the modern intersection of Blaine Avenue and Route 9. By 11 o'clock, ready firmly in control of the village north of the Saranac River, and where we are today had already been occupied. General Prevost made his way to the house of Edward Allen and declared Allen's home to be his headquarters. The house, located near the present intersection of Franklin and Broad Streets, offered a commanding view of the American fortifications. A veteran of the Revolutionary War, my father-in-law, 73-year-old Captain Nathaniel Platt, staunchly refused to stay with the rest of the family to the Quaker Union. The aged patriot declared he had never turned from the enemy and refused to leave his fine frame home on Cornelia Street that Tuesday morning. When an insolent young British officer approached the house on horseback and demanded to know who he was, the old man did not hesitate to express himself freely. He rose from his chair and replied, "I am Captain Nathaniel Platt of the Revolution, and you can go straight to hell, sir. The British Quartermaster General took possession of the home, where my father-in-law remained for the remainder of the British occupation. The retreating American troops scrambled for the two bridges. The militia crossed the upper bridge, you know it is the South Catherine Street Bridge, and tore up the flooring after all were across, using it as a breastwork. The lower bridge, the bridge right around the corner, the Bridge Street Bridge, was a closer call. Removal of the flooring was done under enemy fire, covered by Aiken's volunteers, who took post in a stone gristmill nearby. British forces were discouraged from crossing the river by bridge or ford by the vigilance of both regular and militia units along the south bank. Macomb conspicuously paraded his troops to exaggerate his numbers and planted false information of additional troops nearby for British consumption. The two armies in the gunner's fleet waited 5 days for the arrival of Captain George Downey's Royal Navy Squadron. On the first day, British sharpshooters occupied the buildings along Lower Broad and Margaret Streets and fired across the river at close range. Macomb ordered hot shot fired back, and one by one, 15 private dwellings and businesses burned to the ground. British forces also made efforts to erect batteries. At least 2 emplacements were made on Galord's Point, near today's Champlain Monument. And it's a wonder that they didn't attract enough American fire to destroy the homes of my friends Henry DeLord, Dr. Oliver Davidson, and Peter Saley. Skirmishes occurred daily, although General Prevost's big guns remained silent until the morning of September 11th. You are all invited to reassemble near the Champlain Monument tomorrow morning at noon to witness a reenactment of the events of that fateful Sunday morning 201 years ago. Thank you. As many of you know who are regulars for Battle of Plattsburgh commemorations, this went on for many years as a volunteer effort. Last year was the bicentennial, and many of the volunteers who had guided this undertaking retired. We're all fortunate that the city of Plattsburgh stepped up and took it on to continue it to what you see this weekend. And it's my pleasure, as someone who's seen a lot of mayors of Plattsburgh over the last more than 100 years, to introduce the current mayor of Plattsburgh, Mr. James Calno.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. I think that we're here this weekend to commemorate one of the many times that Plattsburgh has risen in defense of our nation. It has been called the most significant battle of the War of 1812, and the concluding battle in my mind. And so I think it's appropriate, in recognition of our role in the national defense, that we hear from our representative in Congress. It is my pleasure to introduce Congresswoman Elise Stefanik.
Thank you, Mayor, for that kind introduction. It's such a privilege to take part in this extraordinary North Country tradition, and I wanted to share a quote about the historical significance of the Battle of Plattsburgh. Dr. James Mann was the Army physician attached to the hospital at Crab Island immediately preceding and during the Battle of Plattsburgh. And as an eyewitness to the dramatic events that took place here, he recounted that, quote, "The brilliancy of this action was never surpassed, especially as the event was of highest importance to the nation. It belongs to the historian to do ample justice to the commanders of the land and Navy forces who directed, under Providence, the destinies of that day. To be here with you all to commemorate the Battle of Plattsburgh over 200 years later is not just a testament to the important part we have played in our nation's history and founding, but also to how important this battle's history is to our community today. The North Country, as you know, is home to some of the bravest patriots this country has ever known. And no matter the conflict, be it fending off a British army that outnumbered our troops 10 to 1, as we did here over 200 years ago, or fighting terrorists in the mountains of Afghanistan today, North Country patriots have proudly put on our uniform and defended our nation. Our history and heritage is unique and rich, and I am so proud to be a part of a community that takes the opportunity to celebrate it and to teach our children the part we played in the formation of our nation. Thank you so much for everyone who came today, and I'm looking forward to the parade.
Thank you very much. All right, this is the start of the parade, ladies and gentlemen. Our theme for the 2015 Battle of Plattsburgh Parade is the return of peace to the North Country. The news of the peace treaty arrived in February 1815 to the area. Before the parade begins, we'd like to recognize the contribution of a number of individuals, organizations, and businesses. Woodmen of the world for their generous donation of American flags. The Chateauguay, I probably didn't say it right because it's Chateauguay, I'm sorry, and Valley Irish Heritage Association and Mr. Ernie Pressow for the Canadian flags. We are also grateful for the generous contributions of the following: Pepsi, Corns Orchards, who assist with the hospitality tent. A special thank you to all the residents of Cumberland Avenue who welcome us as we prep and prepare for the parade. A special thank you to the Elks Lodge for opening their doors to our World War II veterans as they wait for the parade to begin. The committee meets for many months to prepare this parade for you. I'm having a hard time with my P's. Happy to have about 80 units join. Commitments include Vicki Giroux, Bud Smith, Deb Bruner, Kit Booth, Brenda Town, Keith Lund, William Bailey, and Sandra Geddes. Thank you to Mountain View Equipment for providing the use of 2 John Deere Gators. This is a great assistance in preparing the parade on the mile-long route. Nothing runs like a deer. Thank you to the Lake City Choppers for allowing us the use of a Yamaha Viking to assist with getting dignitaries to the parade route. And we are just waiting for the first unit, the city police, to come over the hill. They're number one because they provide so much help all weekend long up the there.
Well, here we are for the parade 2015. Because I was on the radio so long, I had poor dead air, so I had to fill in the space a little bit. You're no doubt surprised if you tuned in late to hear the voice of John Kruger, a.k.a. Bailey, dressed up as a volunteer reenactor and also in his role as city historian, since the city has assumed ownership of the Battle of Plattsburgh commemoration finally in 2015. It's been a great celebration so far. This parade should be a good one. We're not accustomed to hearing pages and pages of true history from John Kruger before the ceremonies and the commemoration parade begin. So we're delighted to hear that. John has been a good friend for a long time. We worry about these people because they've been existing on a very little sleep over the last, I don't know how many months, in preparation for this weekend's festivities for 4 days. And I'm sure it'll be a huge letdown when it's finally over after tomorrow, but we have enjoyed covering it on Hometown Cable. I tell people whenever they'll stop to listen how many dozens of hours Hometown Cable has dedicated to promoting this phase of North Country history and just about every other that you can imagine when Calvin started this back in the early 1980s. So it's been an awful lot of fun for us to be here since the first parade that I can recall. And when did we cover it? 1997?
We started covering the Battle of Plattsburgh stuff in 1997. They had a couple events.
Yep.
But I don't think the parade was till 98 or 99 that they advanced to the parade, because they started slowly. They had a couple events, and we did I remember doing something at the Kent Lord House and a few other spots, but I think 98 or 99 would be my guess for the first parade.
It's been a great deal of fun. We're on the steps of Plattsburgh City Hall, right across the street from the McDonough Monument. Calvin Castine with the hometown cable camera has it pointed up Cumberland Avenue and what we used to call the old Humpy Bridge, the Smithweed Bridge. The parade itself got started, I'm sure, a few minutes ago down by the Elks Club, another fixture, along with many other beautiful homes on Cumberland Avenue, that historic part of town. So the first of the units will be over the hill very soon. And we'll, of course, appreciate seeing it, along with the horses that have been promised, the various marching bands, including some very professional units, not that they all aren't, but from Ontario and Quebec and Canada and Vermont, various places in the North Country. We love to see music and marching bands, and so many modern parades don't have much music except for that inside a box somewhere in the back of a pickup truck.
I see a light.
I see the red light flashing. Well, I know it's the Plattsburgh City Police car leading the parade. Battle of Plattsburgh Parade 2015. The actual battle day was September 11th, which was 201 years ago yesterday. But our festivities continue. A lot of events going on. We started the morning with our little hometown cable cameras down at the Kent Lord House. Some reenactment battles going on down there, some rowing events. We went down to Durkee Street parking lot. Covered events there, so now we'll listen to John announcing the parade.
Thank you for your service, gentlemen. They're followed by the 10th Mountain Division Marching Band. The 10th Mountain Division is a light infantry division in the United States Army based at Fort Drum, New York. Originally constituted as a mountain warfare unit, the division was the only one of its size to receive intensive specialized training for fighting in mountainous and Arctic conditions. Today, the 10th honors that legacy by retaining the mountain designation. Thank you for your service, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them a big Plattsburgh welcome. Thank you to the VFW on Boynton Avenue for housing the 10th Mountain and feeding them. Next is the U.S. Army Reserve, an official U.S. Army recruiting station located in Plattsburgh. If you're interested in joining the Army or seeing what the Army's all about, give them a call or come in for information. By talking with them, you're not signing up, you're just getting information. Thank you for your service. They're followed by Bravo Company, 108th Infantry Division, Morrisonville, New York. Soldiers from Bravo Company are local to the North Country and have served on deployments to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom.
I must say the weather has cooperated
As I
very
said
nicely.
earlier, for many years,
It's been a great day, great
all
week.
of these festivities were the responsibility of an all-volunteer organization. And just this year it passed to the city of Plattsburgh. This year's selection honors as Grand Marshals, approaching us now, 3 commemoration volunteers who have been instrumental. Many would say they are the key 3 who made the event thrive and become what it is today. Thank you so very much, Kit Booth, Sally Booth, and Gary Van Coor. If anybody deserves a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, it's this float. We're going to stop and watch the rest of the parade. Coming up behind them is the SUNY Plattsburgh ROTC. It's supported through the University of Vermont ROTC program. And as many of you know, the whole idea behind ROTC started here at Plattsburgh 100 years ago with the Plattsburgh idea, which was a lot easier to say than ROTC. Marching with their banner are sailors representing the USS Hunley Association. DD 762. This post-World War II destroyer is the last of 3 U.S. Navy ships, named in honor of Lieutenant Robert Henry, who commanded the Brig Eagle, one of the 4 American ships that defeated the British on Lake Champlain on September 11, 1814. The USS Henley Association held their first annual reunion here in Plattsburgh in 2002, and their 10th in 2012, and they've been a part of the DOP celebration each year since. They are honorary citizens. The North Country Honor Flight. North Country Honor Flight honors our Korean and World War II veterans. Included in our entry are Raised Jeep for veterans. Our float, and supporting us is the Classic Mustang Club, with wives and relatives of the veterans. These are members of the greatest generation. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Now come on, you can do a bigger round of applause than that. Thank you.
thinks of these guys and gals, huh? Of course, you have to have a few Mustangs.
Here come the police pipes and drums. Formed in 2005 to play the time-honored bagpipe tradition of performing for fallen law enforcement, firemen, and military. Presently led by James Godfrey, pipe major. We hope you enjoy their music and thank you for your support.
Former state policeman and dear friend Jim Godfrey, Mr. Al Walker, and all of our friends. So thrilled to hear the pipes and to have our own police group here in the North Country. It's interesting how the sound finally catches us once they get over the bridge. Good looking group, what do you think?
Next is the St. Andrews Society. The St. Andrews Society is followed by the Girl Scouts of Northeastern New York. It's a leadership organization for girls.
There's more than one way to wear a quilt, friends. These kilts are beautiful, aren't they? Look at the dogs.
If you're a young woman, join this year and become a Girl Scout.
And that's called a TAM, isn't it? I think so. Nice to see such a diverse cross-section of entries into this year's parade.
We're also joined by the Northern Adirondack Girl Scouts. Girl Scout troops 4109 and 4013 from Ellenburg, New York.
Great to see that the Girl Scouts
Ellenburg
still going strong
Plattsburgh. What's this?
after all these years.
Here we have Boy Scout Troop 39 and Cub Scout Pack 39 from Plattsburgh. Chartered in 1933 to the United Methodist Church of Plattsburgh, it is the oldest continually operated Boy Scout program in the North Country.
It's a good one. We've known them for a long, long time. One of our older grandchildren
The
were
Plattsburgh Boy
involved
Scouts are
way
followed
back
by
when.
Beekmantown Boy Scouts. Troop number 8046. Children's Old-Time Village Fair. The Children's Old-Time Village Fair float is designed and built by the Chattering Chipmunks 4-H Club and Elizabeth Ward of Cook and Gardner Gardner Center. The 4-H children and their parents, along with family and friends of Cook and Gardner, encourage everyone to attend the Children's Old-Time Village Fair on Sunday from 10 a.m. until 4 o'clock, directly across the street on the grounds surrounding the McDonough Monument. They're accompanied by guides from the Chateau Ramsey Museum. Once again, our community more and more welcome. Volunteer guides from the Chateau Ramsey Museum, which is located in Old Montreal. Guides from this museum have been participating in the commemoration since 1998, and we thank them for returning again this year. You can meet them later this afternoon and all day Sunday on the grounds of the monument directly across the street. Next up, Clinton County 4-H. Welcome to Clinton County 4-H Playhogger Club. 4-H educates youth in the North Country. They're accepting new youth members. Contact Cornell Cooperative Extension to join a troop near you. Next is the Langos Racine Dance School, devoted to enriching children's lives, providing dance education and performance opportunity for all children in the community, with a special focus on underserved populations ages 3 to 18. They seek to promote and enrich culture in the community by launching dreams.
4-H, another organization that we're very familiar with for so many years here in the North Country and elsewhere. I mentioned phrases that my mother used to say when we'd say hay, and my mother would say hay is for horses, and somebody reminded me, yeah, but his father used to say hay is for horses, but straw is cheaper. I have forgotten that for the last 60 or 70 years. In the back of our minds and our psyche somewhere are those old phrases.
That is the first goat that's been in one of these parades. You can cross that off your bucket list, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Nick, you wait next year. All the goats will be here. There'll be llamas and alpacas. Maybe even miniature donkeys. Who knows? Well, it's a good parade so far. Actual time in the afternoon is 1:28.
I think I introduced them a little early. These are the young ladies from the dance school.
We saw them coming over the hill. This is the 2015 Battle of Plattsburgh Parade held on September 12th, 2015 at downtown Plattsburgh. Calvin Castine and me, Gordy Little, on the steps of City Hall.
And they're followed by a rooster who can't dance anywhere near as well as they can. It's Champlain Center, the People's Choice Award winner, and first prize winner, the Sucky Plucky. Sucky Plucky is completely made out of straw by its creators, Hannah Parker Carter and Emily Fuller. The second place rooster is Stretch E. McDonough, named after the Stretch workout band he's made out of. By his creators, the Town of Plattsburgh Fitness for Life Group. The third place winner is Liberty, created by Passive Adult Services.
Aren't they cool? Perhaps you've seen them in the
The
mall.
reincarnation of the legend of the plucky rooster.
I think they're great.
The poor rooster was really put to shame. He's got dancers in front of him, and now he's got dancers coming up behind him. It's the Irish School of Dance, the Champlain Valley Irish Dancers. They're dedicated to the promotion of Irish culture through Irish dance lessons. Classes take place in Plattsburgh, and information can be obtained at cvid.org. I died 175 years ago. I have no clue what that means. Something I can relate to, however, is the next float, the Daughters of the American Revolution, the DAR. The Saranac chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution was organized in 1895. It was nationally founded in Washington only 5 years earlier. They are a non-profit women's service organization dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving America's history, and securing America's future through education for children.
And a special thank you to John and Pete, who came all the way from Auburn to drive those ladies for us.
Love the Irish dancers. We've seen them in their own country and Irish castles. During our tours there in the past. And we see them today.
Coming over the bridge, North End Harley and Lake City Choppers with Roe Ducky. North End Harley Davidson, Lake City Choppers. Come in and see their full line of 2016 Harley Davidson motorcycles. Or get ready for a hunting season with a Yamaha or CF Moto ATV, or a side-by-side, or a Suzuki ATV. I'm not a biker. North End is your local Harley Davidson, Yamaha, Euro, and Suzuki dealer for motorcycles, ATVs, and watercraft. North End is currently supporting the Rotary Club of Plattsburgh in their fundraising efforts today. Visit the Rotary tent right across the way there and buy a cup or two for the Roe Ducky Derby and stick around for the bed races, both happening later this afternoon. You need to have a button and you need to buy a duck.
I want to know how they drove that thing on the truck. Looks like a tight fit, doesn't it?
Here is NAMI, Champlain Valley, with their giant soup bowl. They invite you to come to Trinity Park tomorrow, Sunday, from 11:30 to 2 to try soups from local restaurants and vote for the best one.
Yes, I have accepted the responsibility of being one of the judges for that tomorrow, so I will be here. I'll try not to slurp too much, and I'll try to pick the right one. I may have to eat a lot of soup before I decide, though. We'll see. They're a wonderful group, and I've supported them all the years they've been around here.
NAMI is followed by the Plattsburgh Ghost Company. Here's a 1968 Cadillac, owned by the Greater Adirondack Ghost and Tour Company. These folks host lantern-lit guided ghost tours here in the city each weekend. Check them out on Facebook. Again, I don't have a clue what that is. The Ghost folks are followed by a group we all know owe an incredible debt of gratitude to. This is the Clinton Correctional Facility Emergency Response Team. Thank you for keeping our area safe. It's worth standing up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here today. Welcome members of the Clinton Correctional Emergency Response Team.
What a group they are. I'm wearing a law enforcement officer's wristband just given to me by a friend, one on each wrist today, in honor of those people who worked so hard during that 23-day period that some of us would like to forget in June.
Next up, the poster winners. First place, Emily Ferdinandi, Moores Elementary. Second place, Maria Murphy, Loma Elementary. Third place, Kate LaPointe, Northern Adirondack Elementary. The contest winner, Emily, was 10 years old. Hopefully you all have her artwork by now on your buttons. She's going into the 5th grade at Moores Elementary. She loves drawing, softball, reading, and horses. And thank you, Jim Gagno, for driving them. The Sons of the American Revolution, the SAR, members of the Sons of the American Revolution can trace their lineage back to a patriot who fought honorably in the war. Next is the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, a religious community supporting freedom of worship, freedom of speech, and freedom of thought. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Plattsburgh, where all are welcome. It's a real honor to welcome the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Quebec Royal Canadian Mounted Police pipes and drums. The band is composed of police and civilian volunteers who come together to share and showcase their musical talents for the benefit of the communities they serve. This is the 13th year they've been here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them a big hand.
Wonderful group.
Next up, I'd like to draw your particular attention to John Quincy Adams, one of the few people here this afternoon as old as I am. He's 4 years younger. I was born in 1763. He was born in 1767. He will be doing a presentation on the Treaty of Ghent tonight, the treaty that ended the War of 1812. At a very appropriate location, the Champlain Wine Company, 30 City Hall. Thank you, John Quincy, for traveling back and forward through time.
For those of people who don't know it, He really does look like John Quincy Adams. Last time we interviewed him, we compared the painting with his present visage.
Next, we have the
And we're
Plattsburgh
blown
Teachers
away.
Association. The Plattsburgh Teachers Association offers numerous scholarships for high school seniors, as well as championships for elementary students. They're actively involved in the community, donating to various youth athletic groups, journeying to reading at the local mall, and supporting literacy volunteers. The Plattsburgh Teachers Association supports the children in our community in many ways, both inside and outside the classroom. And we thank the community for allowing you to work with your children.
Very nice that some of the groups stop in front of the grandstand here. I call it the grandstand, reviewing stand, if you will, and perform. And it's also nice that Calvin Castine captures it for forever and ever on Hometown Cable. This is the Battle of Plattsburgh Parade 2015 on September 12th, 2015 at downtown Plattsburgh. I hear a train whistle in the distance. It's kind of cool.
Once again, this is John Quincy Adams coming through now. You'll have an opportunity to get up close and personal with John Quincy, 6 o'clock this afternoon. And he, of course, is followed by the Plattsburgh Teachers Association.
Here's the train going by. There it goes. Right on cue.
And an impromptu pass through by the train.
The passengers from Montreal bound for New York City are saying, what the heck is going on over there? It looks like a parade. Yes, folks, it is. Come back and see us sometime. Spend a lot of time, I do in my family,
The Teachers
promoting
Association is followed
and saluting
by
teachers.
the Bailey Avenue, Lomar, and Oak Street schools. Families and students are proud to represent the Bailey Avenue, Lomar, and Oak Street elementary schools. Every day these students exhibit the 3 Ds: be safe, be respectful, and be responsible.
Good music too, huh? Yeah, music teachers count too, you know. Love it. I hear that too, but yeah, I pressed those valves a lot in the olden days. And the kids are back at school here in northern New York.
Coming down the way now is Reality Check. Reality Check works with middle and high school students to fight deceptive and manipulative tobacco industry marketing. Learn more about Reality Check by visiting www.realitycheckofnewyork.com.
Pretty darn good parade this year. We heard ahead of time from John that there were at least 60 units in the parade, and I have not counted them, nor do I have a list, but I think it's pretty close to that or more. Terrific. Parade started shortly after 1 o'clock, and it's now 1:47 officially. And there's more to come. A nice breeze. Temperatures very mild, almost no humidity under partly cloudy skies on the 12th day of September 2015. Who could ask for anything more?
Check is followed by the Valley CW and Street Team. WPTZ 5.2, providing our community with great entertainment 24/7. Since we have good weather, I think our local weatherman needs a big hand of applause. I think I'll beat him up if it was like last year.
Tom's been here at Channel 5 WPTZ for many years,
Thank you, Tom.
having come from a previous stint in Watertown.
It's my honor to introduce the Royal Marine Association Band of Coburg. The band of Her Majesty's Royal Marines Association of Coburg, Ontario, also known as the Concert Band of Coburg, one of the most sought-after bands in the region.
They are too.
In addition to performing in parades, military tattoos, and concerts in the park, come and see the Royal Marines in concert tonight at the Strand. The Royal Marine Association Band of Coburg.
I drool over this band. That's one of the
Another
best
one
of its
these
kind I've
times,
ever
we're giving
heard.
a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
We've saluted them for
There's
years.
a lot of them.
We bought their CDs. We've listened to their concerts. We've met their concert masters, and most of the people in this band, they are fantastic, and they are wonderful neighbors to the north for sure. Wait till you hear them if you haven't before.
Next is the Royal Marine Veterans. The Royal Marine Veterans Organization is celebrating its 300th anniversary. 300th anniversary. And they in turn are followed by the Coburg Cadets, a youth group from 12 to 19 years old from the town of Coburg and surrounding areas. It's their second year marching in our parade. The Hastings and Prince Edward Regiment, the 88th Royal Canadian Army Cadets.
If you're not here, don't you wish you would come to the parade this year? It's a good one.
NER, New York 388, commanded by Joe Patway, the Deputy Commander of Cadets, Mike Pluto. Next up, the Cliff Haven Homeowners Association. As many of you know, Cliff Haven was the location of the Catholic Summer School of America from 1796 to 1941. It was famous for its luxury resort an educational campus with cottages, a chapel, a dining hall, and a post office.
Mr. Roger Black, we know a lot more than we used to.
They are
Having seen this
followed by
wonderful
good
program
friends
with
of
the old
Clinton County
photographs.
Historical Association and Museum, the Clinton County Historical Association, Work Experience Program, and Adirondack Coast Cultural Alliance. Founded in 1947, the Clinton County Historical Association is dedicated to promoting and preserving the history of Clinton County. The association's museum, located on the museum campus, houses a collection of more than 30,000 artifacts and features year-round exhibits in 3 floors of gallery space. Today's float is designed in part by youth from this area's Work Experience Program. Next, the Coburn Legion Pipes and Drums. Founded in 1965 by Pipe Major George Lovett, the band was originally known as the Pine Ridge Pipe Band. In 1967, the ancient red Gordon was selected for their tartan. To obtain this tartan, permission had to be granted by the Marquis of Huntley, chief of the Gordon clan. In 1968, the band was sponsored by Braintree 133, Royal Canadian Legion, Coburg, Ontario. The band is now known as the Coburg Legion, Pipes and Drums.
Okay, now I'm getting hungry and thirsty.
Here comes Right Management, Dunkin' Donuts mascot, Puppy and Sprinkles, the A&W mascot, Rudy the Root Beer, and KFC mascots, Bucky and the Colonial. All owned by White Management, they serve Clinton, Franklin, Essex, and St. Lawrence counties.
I don't know how much more there is. It's been a wonderful parade. It's
The direct descendants
almost an
of
hour so
Julius
far.
Caesar Hubble, George and Kay Hubble.
There's the Hubbles, George and Kay. Oh, George. Oh, jump in the pool. His ancestor was
Fidelis Care.
a judge who came and watched the Battle of Plattsburgh when it happened.
Affordable health insurance coverage for children and adults of all ages and all stages of life. With more than 1.2 million members statewide, Fidelis Care was founded on the belief that all New Yorkers should have access to affordable, quality health insurance.
Do you remember the first Lake Champlain Monster Champy costume? I do.
Coming over the bridge, you
A
hear
friend
the
named
sailing
Joan wore it
masters.
when she worked for the bank many years
Country
ago.
Corps based in Essex, Connecticut.
Joan
The
Saunders.
uniform is that of the sailing master, the third ranking officer. Welcome back to Plattsburgh, sailing masters.
They come often too, and we're glad to have them coming over the crest of the hill.
It's appropriate that coming right behind the sailing masters are the junior encampment from the Kent Award House. Their kids reliving history. The North Country Teacher Resource Center assists area teachers by providing professional development courses and resources. These teachers and assistants represent the Living History Depot. Visit the encampment located at the Kent Award House Museum encampment. Families are invited to join them and participate in chores and crafts of the early 19th century.
They're wonderful, aren't they?
Activities will recommence after the parade until 4 o'clock. Bring the children to dress up in period clothing. Make candles, churn butter, make custard cartridges, and much more. This year's additional support comes from Kiwanis and Stillers.
Look at those uniforms.
With them,
Teams and tennis. I love it. We visited them this morning. Look at this little one over here in the rear. Isn't that great?
They are followed by the Saratoga, Captain Tom Lamar. The Saratoga was Commodore McMillan's flagship. The 144-long Saratoga is represented by a 1/12 scale working model. It will be firing tomorrow at the right before the Battle of Plattsburgh. Champlain Monument between 11 and 11:30 tomorrow. Put it on your calendar.
I think he's canceled that because of the threat of nasty weather. But nobody told John, I guess.
Larry Lee Everly of Country Living Entertainment. If you're looking for great country music for an event, there's your guy. He's auditioning for you right now.
There are more units coming too.
Everything was going all right, but I was running out of time. You had one boy at the door.
Walking and singing at the same time.
It's the final word to me. When you write this down, take a little look. To remind you in case you didn't know.
There's a great cannon.
We got to say that gives you PA envy. Next we have Knights of Columbus, 255. Monsignor Morris Squire Council 255 of the Knights of Columbus. It's been part of the Plattsburgh community for more than 118 years. One of the oldest councils in the order. The Knights of Columbus is a Catholic men's group that focuses on helping others. This past year, the council has donated $60,000 for hundreds of hours of volunteer service for local charitable organizations. Thank you, gentlemen. Joined by Monsignor Dupre of St. Peter's Church. This colorful group approaching represents the Seton Schools, Seton Academy and Seton Catholic. They offer the only private pre-K through 12 education in the North Country. Their pre-K format offers a true primary school experience, and their high school seniors have a 100% college acceptance rate. They welcome alumni from the classes of 1990, 1995, 2000, 2000, and 2005. 100% college acceptance rate. You can't improve on that.
What a good group they are. I love the little ones too. A lot of familiar faces in that group, I'll tell you. Started with St. John's and the Mission of Hope, and how many of those do you think we've covered at Hometown Cable, interviewing the young people, and adults have gone to Nicaragua. They've made a real difference, not only in the lives of Nicaraguans, but in themselves and their families.
Remember that, ladies and gentlemen, 100% college acceptance. Coming over the lines, the Quigley Pipes and Drums. The Quigley Highlanders Pipes and Drums from Glengarry County, Ontario, have been playing in parades and festivals for the last 11 years. The band is proud of its Celtic heritage and embraces its motto, know your past, empower your future.
I like that. Know your past, empower your future. We captured some of their work this morning along with dancing down at the Farmers Market on Durkee Street in Plattsburgh as part of our Battle of Plattsburgh coverage for Hometown Cable. Nice crowds gathered on both sides of the street down here in front of City Hall in Plattsburgh, and I'm sure lining all the way back to Cumberland, through Cumberland Avenue where the parade started, and heading down on Bridge Street. Just enough cloud cover to keep the sun off the masses here, and people seem to be quite comfortable.
Quigley Highlanders Pipes and Drums from Glengarry County, Ontario.
Did some good dancing downtown today too. Been a tradition for many decades for Canadian groups to come and march in parades here in the Plattsburgh area and elsewhere in northern New York. And we do the same for them. We love it.
Next is Periwinkles. Periwinkles berets and beautiful jewelry. They have the finest diamonds and colored gemstones from around the world. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you select exclusive jewelry in all price ranges. And they're joined by Perry himself. The next float is Helping Hearts for Christopher, Haunted House. The Haunted House float represents a fundraiser for Christopher. It takes place at the VFW in the Spellman Road, Beekmantown, October 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It consists of a large corn maze, haunted house rooms, games, pony rides, a food concession, and much more. Looking forward to seeing everyone there.
I think I might be there telling ghost stories. Just wait and see. And you thought the parade was over? No way, folks. It's only 5 after 2.
You are the lumberjacks.
More to come.
Plattsburgh Roller Derby. They recently became an official nonprofit organization and are officially insured throughout USA Rolling Sports. They continue to dedicate their time and energy to community service, fundraising, business ventures, and most importantly, practicing to become a strong, competitive roller derby team. Thanks for being here, ladies. Here comes a line of precision North Country classics. The North Country Classics Car Group. They enjoy cruising the Northeast with their classic cars for
Love
antique
it.
vehicles.
Isn't that beautiful?
I mean, think about it, who wouldn't? Currently, there are 340 members, and the organization is only 2 years old. The North Country Classics Car Group.
Listening to that exhaust.
Plattsburgh Fire Department are proud to be part of the parade. They're always looking for new volunteers, and they encourage you to stop by one of their fire stations any Monday night, or check them out at www.spfd32.org. The South Plattsburgh Fire Department. And the State Police, the New York State Police.
And the city police started the parade, and here we are near the other end of it. What a great parade it's been. An hour long, over an hour long. That's pretty terrific.
I didn't know we were that close to the end, so I had to switch batteries, and I missed the spiel on the Plattsburgh Lacrosse Club. I apologize to them.
That's perfectly all right.
Not to them.
I'm sorry. We'll go and watch him play sometime.
Many people regard that as the best event of the commemoration weekend. So if you wander off a little bit, don't wander very far, and you'll be able to hear it when it starts. There's a full slate of activities for the rest of the afternoon and the early evening, and there's a...
Well, it's been fun. Battle of Plattsburgh coverage with our little camcorders and with Calvin's little camcorder, and I think we covered the waterfront for 2015, a 4-day event. Our coverage culminating with the parade today, but coverage will continue for at least one other day here in the North Country. Thank you for watching all of our coverage. Thank you for being the persons you are, for supporting Hometown Cable. Thank you for sending your contributions into Hometown Cable in care of Calvin Castine, 1477 Ridge Road in Champlain. Have a wonderful time wherever you are, wherever you're doing right now, North Country, and remember this, who knows where we're going to be next time for our little